Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Jody Lowe. I am an associate on the RISE team. I have been on the RISE team since the very beginning when we launched RISE back in November of 2020. And it's just been an incredible journey to see this program grow and to really just encourage more and more young people from around the world to apply to this amazing opportunity. So I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Karine, to introduce herself before we introduce two of our global winners.
Hi everyone, I'm Karine. I'm an analyst here on RISE. I started earlier this year with the program, and just echoing everything Jody said, it's really exciting to meet you all here today. And hopefully we can give you some more insight into the program, the process to apply, the benefits, and we have these two lovely winners. Lydia, if you want to kick off and introduce yourself.
Yep. Hi guys, my name is Lydia. I'm phoning in from the UK today. I'm from the 2021 cohort of RISE Global Winners, so that's the first cohort. And I'm calling today from the University of Oxford, where I'm in my first year studying philosophy, politics and economics.
Amazing. Go, Karen.
Hi everyone, I am Karen. I am from Turkey. I'm also a first year RISE Global Winner. I'm a senior and I'm applying to college.
Amazing.
Wonderful. So I'm sure many of you have some idea of what RISE is. So I'll just quickly give you kind of the backstory and talk about where we are now. So way back in 2019, Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, and his wife, Wendy Schmidt, made a $1 billion philanthropic commitment to identify and support global talent, RISE being the anchor program to that commitment. And in partnership with Schmidt Futures, which is where Karine and I work in New York City, and our wonderful colleagues at the Rhodes Trust being known for administering the prestigious Rhodes Scholarship, we work together to really build this program and find, not only just 100 brilliant 15 to 17-year-olds from around the world and provide them with a lifetime of benefits and support, but also so many others who just really need an opportunity to develop their skills, learn more about themselves, and really feel seen and heard. So our philosophy at RISE is really that we know that brilliance is everywhere, but the opportunity to really showcase your brilliance and get recognized is not. And so the focus of RISE is to address this problem and ensure that as many 15 to 17-year-olds as possible really have the opportunity to learn about themselves and really recognize the brilliance and talents that they truly have. And so our purpose is to Our purpose is to find brilliant people who need opportunity and really support them for life. So RISE really being a lifetime program, as these incredible young people work to serve others. And soon you'll hear from Lydia and Karen about kind of, the things that they have experienced having been RISE Global Winners in, going into their second year. Okay, so first and foremost, RISE is not like many traditional global programs. First of all, RISE is a global community, so we're really focusing on building a global community of incredible, brilliant, talented young people from around the world. Like I said previously, RISE is for life, so we're really focused on that lifetime commitment. And then we're really looking for brilliance in new, different, and innovative ways. We know that test scores, grades are not a true measure of how brilliant and talented a young person is. So when we talk about our application process, you'll learn more about that. But really, our application process has been designed to not be traditional and to really allow applicants to harness and focus on their brilliance and talents in a different way. So with that being said, I think I'll hand it over to Lydia to just quickly talk about her experience with the RISE Global community.
Yeah, so the Rise Global community is really different to many of the communities that I had been in before. I think the most obvious thing that people think of right away is the diversity. And that's not just diversity of nationality in the sense of having people from almost every country in the world, but also cognitive diversity and diversity of interest. Like if you're really into solving problems in climate or in health, and maybe there aren't that many people in your community who share that interest, come to the Rise Global community and you will find so many people who are working on solving the same problems with you, and you can exchange ideas, talk about what is and isn't working, send recommendations for different opportunities that you can take up together or independently, which is absolutely fantastic. And then I think the two main characteristics I would highlight about the community, rather than being sort of tense and competitive and like, oh, who's going to get the opportunity, who's not, it's really as cooperative and collaborative as I've ever seen a community be. You know, if you're feeling stressed and under the weather, you've got your Rise friends there to help you and support you and lift you back up again. And then as well, the sheer agency and proactivity of the community members is really something special. I think because everyone is doing a Rise project as part of becoming a member of the Rise community, it really puts you in a frame of mind where all of the global issues and local issues are things that you actually can make a difference on and can solve. And being around people in that mentality is going to be so good for your own personal sense of being able to make a difference in the world.
Brilliantly put, Lydia. So just, a quick overview of the Rise Global community to date. Since, launching Rise in November of 2020, we've had over 150,000 young people from over 170 plus countries join the global community. We currently now have 200 global winners from 69 countries. And then in our most recent cohort, or 2022 cohort that was announced in October, we had 500 finalists from 89 countries and our 100 global winners from 47 countries with 30 languages spoken. So quite a vast array of nationalities, backgrounds, talent, diversity, really just encompassing the Rise Global community. Awesome. So I will now hand it over to Karine.
Great, thank you, Jody. So I'm going to speak to the benefits that Rise offers to the community a little bit here. So we do offer benefits to everyone who applies. It's not just for those who become finalists or winners. Those terms we'll define a bit better in the slides to come. So everyone who applies has the opportunity to join a global community through the Rise Discord. When you do apply to Rise, and there will be a link at the end of this presentation on a QR code that you can scan to apply right now, our application is open. You will get an invitation to the Discord where you can essentially speak with all of the other applicants, some of the Rise team as well, to help you through your application process. There's also access to free online resources and events, and just the experience of our application, because we do apply, we do ask that all applicants build their own project, which you'll learn more about as well. It's good experience in project-based learning and just various social impact opportunities. We work with partners who will also provide opportunities to all our applicants from the get-go. So I'll pass over to Karan to speak a bit about her experience benefiting as an applicant.
So different stages of application offer different benefits. While doing my Rise project, I did a community involvement work. My project was mainly about refugee people in my community. And while working with them, I connected with people from different backgrounds and professionals and peers, which helped me in the reflective part of the application process, which is also pretty good to have, because you don't only work on something, but you also think about the things that you've done so far and evolve as a person, regardless of your outcome. And as for the Discord community, I was part of the Discord as well. And what was great in there as well is what Lydia exactly talked about. People from different interests and passion are together, and they talk about and give some recommendations to each other, and they also build things together. So I was personally working on a student journal, and I shared that with the Discord community here, and I got some amazing feedbacks. And now I am actually working with someone who is not selected as a winner, but was a part of Discord community to make this journal a better place.
That's so great. Perfect example. Thank you. So then moving on to the benefits for finalists, we have 500 finalists towards the end of our application cycle every year, and these finalists receive their own subset of benefits. So finalists can participate in educational and leadership courses that RISE provides, and as well as that, they can gain access to funding opportunities to experiment with specific ideas to solve challenges. And there are also just opportunities for test waivers for things like the Duolingo English test. We have really good feedback from our finalists in terms of the courses that they have participated in. And I think, Lydia, you had a good experience with one of the courses while you were still a finalist before gaining your winner status. So if you'd like to speak to that.
Yeah, so in our year, we were offered the choice of 6 different finalist courses, each of which was tailored to a different experience you might be having. So, for example, there was one that's all about finding your purpose. And then there was another one that was specifically for budding entrepreneurs who perhaps already had an idea that they wanted to work on and develop. I joined a program called the Preparing Global Leaders Forum, which was sort of these intense Socratic style seminars with a professor from Georgetown University who had been hailed as America's #1 professor, which I was quite skeptical of at first. But then we went into those sessions and I actually realized, wow, okay, RISE has selected and vetted these people to teach us really, really well, because the sheer amount of sort of insider knowledge and skill building experience we were getting exposed to was pretty fantastic. And I've been able to apply so many of the different strategies that he taught us about improving your personal effectiveness, your networking skills, and so on in the month since then. So yeah, highly recommend.
That's great. And then finally, I'll briefly run you through the benefits of becoming a RISE Global winner. So we pick 100 global winners every year. These winners receive benefits for life. As we sort of mentioned earlier, RISE is a global community. It's a full life community. So these benefits are intended to serve our winners for the rest of their lives, professional lives as well. There's the opportunity to receive needs-based college scholarships, as well as an invitation to a fully funded residential summit over the summer of the year after you're selected. Sorry. So we'll speak more to that next. But yeah, the list is quite endless. I think mentorship and career services and just the network as well is a big piece there. We also offer technology packages for all of our winners. And again, you can see here, because this is a full life commitment, the funding opportunities that are needs-based can spread over as well into graduate scholarships. So it's not just at the undergrad level. And I think, Lydia, do you want to run us through some of your experience here as a global winner before we speak about residential?
Yeah. So I think one of the things that's on many 16 to 18-year-olds' minds, and one of the things in which RISE is coming in really helpful for my cohort right now, is just college and university applications. The fees of SATs and university applications through the Common App can really stack up. But if you get in contact with RISE, RISE can help take care of that. And then as well, you can get access to college advising, university advisors to help you with your essays and tests and so on. And then when you actually get to university, any financial worries you have will essentially be alleviated by RISE in terms of your tuition fees, your accommodation, which is just, a massive burden off your shoulders and can really allow you to focus on your studies and your student experience. And I would also note that the RISE team has actually been really responsive, in the sense that if there's some other thing that you think would help with your academic or professional advancement, you can raise it with them. And because this is, a program in its earliest days, we're all really still co-creating it together. So, the perks are ever evolving and ever growing. I can really speak to that.
That's great. Yeah, I think that's really well put, Lydia, in that you emphasize the fact that we are really collaborative and working with our winners at all stages to help them through the different hurdles. So we don't know of all the hurdles. We the Rise team ourselves went to university quite a long time ago. So some of us are not as familiar with some of the hurdles that exist today, and I think post-pandemic as well. So our winners have been really great at working with the winner support team to help us navigate where our winners need most support, and we will provide that for them at all stages. So then just a quick zoom in into the residential summit, which both Karen and Lydia attended this past summer in Cape Town. All Rise winners will attend the residential, which is 3 weeks long and held in a different location every year. So I would love it if the two of you could just take a quick trip down memory lane and speak to some of your favorite experiences at residential this year. Karen, if you want to kick us off.
It's a bit off the topic, but it's the first time I see this picture of myself in summit with other winner friends, and I'm so happy to see them again. So my favorite part of the summit, apart from the people, as you probably noticed how much I miss them, was the third week, because during the third week we chose some kind of issues in the world, the very pressing issues, and we had the opportunity to involve with the community, but they were people from different perspectives, backgrounds, and we spent like 3 to 4 days examining and actually experiencing that problem. I was in the gender part, and I met women who withstand the traditions, or women entrepreneurs who stand against the patriarchy, or even people who resist the gender equality. And seeing all those different perspectives enabled me to think about. And when we go back to the hotel, we also like talked for hours about what we've experienced during the days, which was also very good and enriching, and in that sense. Yes. And also, I think I'm very happy to be with Lydia in this session, because she was one of the best friends of mine during the summit, and we had like a lot of gender discussions together after the times that we attend those sessions. Yeah, it was like very, very good time.
That's great. Lydia, you can go ahead and share as well.
Yeah, so I think Karan just spoke really well to the perks of meeting with these other 100 young people from around the world. I would also say that the facilitators that Rise brought in to do the activities with us were really on absolutely top form. We had a lot of Rhodes Scholars and Mandela Rhodes Scholars. So those are students who were selected to study at Oxford and South African universities come in and share their experiences with us. And to be able to take these people on sort of as role models and mentors during that time and beyond is just, really phenomenal. I think also I really enjoyed going out to the University of Cape Town and the sessions that we had there. We had all sorts of incredible activities like abseiling, scuba diving. It might sound like a bit of a jolly holiday, which in a way it was, but I would also say there's a lot of personal challenge involved there, and learning to do things that you didn't necessarily think you were capable of before, and working in teams and so on. We had access to, I think, many NBA stars. This sort of went over my head because I'm not a sports person, but some people were very excited about this. Some of South Africa's absolute finest musicians and activists who were involved in the civil rights, so the anti-apartheid movement in the 1990s in the country. Just really, Rise brings the most fantastic people together, and when you put all of those people in one place, the most amazing discussions and follow-up activities can happen.
That's great. And yeah, exactly, Lydia, you and I both also not much of a sports fan, but there you go, the Rise community full of everyone from all different backgrounds and interests. So again, just to reiterate and close on this note, the power of our Rise Global Network is just in shaping the direction of everyone's lives, and the connection element there I think is really unique. So being able to meet across, now we do have winners in 69 different countries, build those relationships and just collaborate, find others who share similar interests, learn from one another, learn about new interests, meet some NBA stars and speak to the winners who do know about NBA. It really is quite endless in that sense. And I think Rise really tries to cultivate and mentor that sort of network as best as we can to help our winners grow. And it's very much a two-way street. So they will do the same to help guide us in helping foster that. So I'll pass back over to Jodie to speak about the application process now.
Absolutely. So many of you may be in the process of applying or thinking about applying, and really your application process is not just an application process, but it's really a way for you to develop your skills, to learn more about yourselves, and to work on a really cool project that you're passionate about. So register today if you haven't already to start your RISE application. Very, very important. The second step is really completing a project, and I'll talk about the project in a moment. The third step is really to tell us about you. So any achievements you've had, you don't have to have any, we don't expect you to, but if there's anything that you want to highlight or you want us to know about you, where you're from, what you're passionate about, what languages you speak, just a great holistic way for us to get to know you is really what the third step is focused on. We also have a peer review component, and this is really unique in that you get to watch other applicants' videos who are also applying to RISE. You get to see their projects, you get to review them, and really just a way, one, for you to be able to connect with other young people, and you could review a project and then go to the Discord community and have a really in-depth and robust discussion about the project that you just peer reviewed. But it's also a good way to know that there are other people, other teenagers and 15 to 17-year-olds around the world who have similar interests to you. And we're really hoping that this peer review process will really spark collaboration and inspiration. And, hopefully, either through a Discord or other channels, you guys can figure out how to collaborate together and really, scale the impact. And then the final part of the application process is a quiz and a game. And this is just another way for us to get to know you and your brilliance. It's, there's no right way of getting the quiz or the game done. And it's just another measure for us to learn more about you. So you do have to complete all 5 steps by January 25th. That is very, very important. And I would encourage you to really start working on your project so you have enough time to complete it and review it and make any changes that you need before the application deadline. So what is the RISE project? So it's in, I would say, about 4 parts. So, or is it 3 parts? I think it's 3 to 4 parts. We've made some adjustments this year. So the first part is focus and research. And this is where you're really explaining the focus of your project and how it links to your passions. So we are really, really interested in projects that you are passionate about, and that will really come through in the videos that you submit and the way you talk about your project. You will also describe your research, any books you're reading, videos you're watching, people you're talking to, and this part is really the foundation of your project. And then you're creating an outline of your research and its impact, your focus area, and the plans for your project. Part 2 is the fun part where you get to design and plan. So this is where with us, you share the goals of your project. You explain what you designed and why it meets your project goals. You also refer to like the detailed plan and, the outcomes that you're looking to achieve throughout your project. And then, if there are any ethical considerations that you're thinking about as you go through the planning and designing process of your project, you tell us about that in this part. Part 3 is where you really get to act and reflect. And for us, this is where we've seen kind of like, the big light bulb go off in a lot of applicants' minds of, what did you do for your project? And, providing us with that evidence, but also, how have things changed in your project from the time you did your focus and research to the time where you actually designed and planned and, carried it through? What changed? And really tell us about, obstacles you've overcome, the entire journey of your project. What did you learn? And like, if you could do it differently, what would you need to do to, change it? What would you change? What would you improve on? And you don't have to make those improvements during the application process, but it's really just a way for you to reflect and learn from this experience. And so I'm going to hand it over to Karen just to talk a little bit more about her project and the experience that she had as she was going through creating her RISE project. I know the application process is a bit different from when you did it almost 2 years ago at this point, but if you could just shed some light on your experience.
Sure. So actually main components are same, but they're even better. I'm so happy that it's evolved. So as for the what would you different part, I will definitely answer that start early. The earlier, the better. So I think it's the very right time to start your projects. And you're probably thinking about your project right now, or maybe questioning if it's the right thing or not. So while doing so, please make sure that to ask, does it work for me? Because you'll be, as you've seen here, examining your project and your like area of work from different perspectives and with different people. So while doing so, in order to foster your creativity, you need to make sure that this actually reflects you and your passion. So as far as you do so, everyone will understand you and get to know you. So that was what I did. I was interested in the different like bias and backgrounds in my community, and as I like explored this area and got through different stages of it, especially the designing and planning parts, what kept me going was my passion towards my work, because we did some works that didn't turned out very well. We were organizing maybe a language learning like a workshop, but one of them didn't turn out to actually happen. So in this process, I was very heartbroken, but I was also happy that I was working on something that I loved. And this thing was the main thing that like made me more creative and willing to do things other than what I had on my hands.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So once projects have been complete, they go through a review phase. So we have a group of expert reviewers who review the projects, and then from there we select 500 finalists. And so those 500 finalists will be scheduled for a particular day, likely in June, where they will come together with a subset of the 500 finalists. And this is where you get to meet members of the RISE team. You get to participate in an interview, some teamwork and team building activities and skills that we learn more about you from. And you have an interview, you meet some of the RISE selectors who are from around the world. And this is for us to just, another way for us to get to know you, for you to get to know us, be able to ask us questions, and meet other RISE finalists. From there, after finalist interviews, we select 100 global winners, and our 100 global winners receive a lifetime of benefits. And so I will hand it over to Lydia, just to talk about, your experience during finalist day and what that was like for you, because you were one of our first finalist day participants.
Yeah, so in our year, finalist days were held over 4 weekends in June. So that would be the June or the summer after we applied. And we were split into small groups of 6 people. And then we worked in those small groups all day. We had a debate, we had a problem-solving activity together. At one point, you'd get pulled out for an individual interview. And I think my favorite part was when we all made presentations to each other. I think we had a prompt, talk about a time that you showed integrity, and hearing different people's interpretations on that was, it was really quite something. And in between all of the activities, we had everyone convening in the main Zoom room where we had meditation and mindfulness just to kind of keep calm and ensure you can put your best self across. And yeah, that was it. It's pretty simple, really, and you'll be very well supported through the whole process, and you might even walk away with some friends from the day. So yeah, and also if you have any like internet and connectivity issues, RISE will be there to help you with that, ensuring that you have a mobile or laptop from which you can access the day and stable Wi-Fi connection.
Awesome. I will always say finalist day is my favorite time of year because then I get to meet you guys. Awesome. So we have a few examples of RISE challenge projects, just so that you all can see kind of the vast diversity of projects that we receive and the type of projects that our winners did. But first, I would love to just hand it over to Karen and then Lydia to just talk about like a summary description of your RISE project, the motivation and inspiration behind the project, and then how your project has kind of developed over time if you've continued working on it.
Okay, I can start. So my RISE project was, I'm living in Turkey once again. My RISE project was about Syrian refugees living in Turkey and integrating them into society through language learning and some supportive acts to assist them during their legislation and legislative processes, because the language acquisition may be a problem in that sense. And at that time, I was also working on bias towards refugees and different groups of people in Turkey. And while applying RISE, I had the idea and I ran some workshops and like a couple of I think I will say workshop again, workshops to about that. But afterwards, after I won RISE, because after I won like this funding and so forth, I'm right now working with some lawyers in city bar and some doctors who are expertise in like psychology and so forth, to collect the efforts that I've been doing together as an association. So we're actually made it through an association, and it will be an association. And we just like sent our application to the like Turkish, I don't know its name in English, but it's like a governmental board. And yes, that was it. But while you mentioned, I think like Jody mentioned that the importance of having a look at the different projects, I'll say it's very, very important to check projects of the winners of your country if you haven't any, because you're surrounded by like similar environments, and how those people reflected on the things surrounding them, maybe also a light for you to reflect on the things that are around you. Yes. I think Lydia's project was about COVID-19, right?
Yeah, so at the time of my project, I was studying at United World College in Hong Kong. United World College is an international school that many RISE winners receive scholarships to attend. And at the time, it was a situation where the government was requiring that everyone wore masks everywhere, but there actually was very low rates of COVID-19 transmission in the community. And within my college, people were sort of wearing a single-use plastic surgical mask, those blue masks, every single day, and then throwing it away at the end of the day. So you can imagine there are these massive bins just filled with plastic waste, and it all goes to landfill, and this is not particularly environmentally friendly. So I actually did some investigation into reusable types of masks that could be used instead, that it turns out are much better for the environment and much more effective against COVID-19 because they had a closer fit on the face. So my project was all about getting my college to make that switch from single-use to reusable. And yeah, I would say it's a problem that I had noticed for about a year, but just not done anything about, seeing how much waste was getting produced. And then the RISE project came along and it was like, okay, I got to do a project then. Oh, I wonder what I can do it on. So I would say probably look for a problem that's been bugging you or people in your community or people in the world more generally, and look for something that's, I guess, like important, but also quite tractable, as in you as an individual teenager can make some like significant amount of difference on it. And look maybe for things that other people are overlooking and not really working on so much, because that's where one extra person working on it can make a really big difference.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing both. So here we just have a few other examples. So our Kenyan winner from year 1, Christian Maboku, he organized a workshop in Kakuma refugee camp to teach fellow refugees about sexual health. We have Ola, we have Valentina also doing, Ola developed an app. Valentina developed a hydroponic system. Very cool, very different, very diverse. Let's see, what else? I'll hand it over to Karine.
Sure, yeah. So near the end now, just to sort of wrap this up and give you an idea of what RISE selects for. So the first point to make here is that RISE selects for talent. We invest in the individual people. Our winners, we focus on as individuals. So the traits that we look for within these individuals that we pick as our winners are these 5 here. So brilliance, perseverance, integrity, empathy, and calling to serve others. I think it's important to stress that while we do review candidates based on their projects, we are not selecting candidates based on their projects and expecting those projects to grow over time. So we, foster that and encourage that. If a project is something that could be developed into an idea further, that's great, but it's not a commitment for the rest of your life. If you do join the RISE community, we really are looking to find winners who display these 5 different traits and who we believe we can work with and help nurture as their life continues. And then finally, just to give you a sense of where our RISE winners are today. So we have RISE Global winners enrolled in universities, still in high school, like Karen is as well, across the world. So lots of them will be in the US, lots of them will also be all over, whether it be their home country or just somewhere new that they would like to explore. As we said, we have mentorship opportunities that help students learn more about the different education systems around the world, and hopefully help tailor winners to a good fit for them later in life. Here are some of the universities that our winners are currently attending. And yeah, I mean, I think, Lydia, you mentioned that you're studying at Oxford. Karen, you also spoke about being in your final year at high school, so we don't need to go over that once again, but I will just give you both the chance to sort of send off your final regards to these either current or prospective applicants. And while you do that, anyone who is online, you can scan this QR code here to go and register and sign up for RISE today.
My final words of advice would be, as I said, start early. It's not very early to start right now. So if you haven't yet, please do start right now. And also explore your community and try to approach differently to your community or the world issues that you had so far. And also, I will say, once you select your RISE project, try to extract everything you can do with it. Like you mentioned about Valentina's project about like a rural part of the world, but I also remember talking to her, and she was also working on to make it a little bit more international way. And so also, as I mentioned, I did some workshops, but I'm working on making it an association. So those are the things that you can also do while working on your RISE project as well. So make sure that you're approaching with different perspectives from national to international, but also you can make it even entrepreneurial, or it can be a community service work. It depends, but make sure that you're approaching it differently and as much ways that you can.
Yeah, so I would really say to you guys, if you're scared about applying, oh, will I get in, will I not? Like, if you don't apply, then you just can't find out. Not applying is like a permanent state of not being accepted. But if you put yourself forward and you apply, then, we see what happens. You're giving yourself a chance. And I would just speak to you guys directly, like not just within the RISE context, but I got accepted to RISE, but I probably had got rejected to like 5 other things at the same time. So really, if you just keep on putting yourself out there, eventually one thing will stick, and then you can find your thing and just go from there. So, don't be afraid. Things can only get better from here if you put yourself forward.
Thank you so much. You are both incredible, and we're very lucky to have you with us speaking today. And to all of you tuning in at the moment, please do go ahead and apply. We will stay on for questions for a couple minutes now. If you do have any, please use the Q&A chat, and wishing you all the best of luck as RISE applicants for this coming year. Thanks all for attending today.